Hey everybody, welcome back to Marvel Monday. This is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 pilot commentary. If you'd like to follow along, get your Disney Plus catalog to timestamp 0 and press play now. You should be on the Marvel logo on your screen. So, I think it was confirmed a while ago this was set in a separate version of the MCU, which in the MCU, unlike that dope new Spider-Man cartoon, because they acknowledge all the Avengers. This show is basically the underdog show. We deal with the aftermath of all these heroes existing for the first time. And if I remember correctly, I think after Coulson was murdered by Loki, I think the outrage from fans is what really gave birth to this show, which I think is kind of cool. I was one of the fans that was upset for sure, but I think for the first couple of seasons, I think the show suffered from the Freak of the Week stuff that Smallville did for a couple seasons, and originally I thought this guy was Luke Cage because of the way he just climbed the building. So he's gonna say an human. He's a scaling the building like freaking Spider-Man. And I think that following Endgame, I think the show this guy is smoking hot. Following Endgame, I think the show makes a lot more sense as being the in-between type of thing, like one of the regular people do with in the aftermath of the Avengers incident. And the Netflix acknowledge the Avengers incident all the time as well. So those are definitely in the MCU. I definitely like the idea of the spy thing in the Marvel universe. And of course, later on, we get introduced to different Hydra agents and Shield agents in the series as it progresses. And again, the underdog type story, I think is quite interesting. I think this was on around the same time as Smallville was going off the air, if I remember correctly. Again, the Freak of the Week thing was definitely a Smallville thing. We did that stuff a lot with You do the thing a lot with the CW shows, Flash and Arrow in particular. But they always thought there was something shady about Ward, Agent Ward. Yeah, Kobe Smulders back as Major Maria Hill. It's cool to see. Now in the comics, Maria Hill has been known to take over Shield from Nick Fury. It's unfortunate we never really got that in the MCU. Would have been curious to see how she would handle things. So the reveal of how Coulson survived, I thought was kind of dumb. The whole wiping his mind or something. But that was kind of lazy writing. I'll tell you right now, though, I can only assume one of the reasons the show got so good rating was because of freaking the babe that plays Daisy. No, right. They don't use the word mutant in the MCU. Because, like, I think it was Arnim Zola said he infiltrated Shield back in the day. I think that was during Winter Soldier. He said no. Cap discovered that in Winter Soldier, but Zola had infiltrated Shield in the 70s or something. I mean, I heard that the show got like really cheesy. You know, the show got really cheesy at some point when they started doing time travel and stuff. But check that out to the season with Ghost Rider. Of course, it wasn't Johnny Blade. It has to be the diverse Ghost Rider. I'm like, oh, great, it Ray is. I mean, the special effects look pretty cool for Ghost Rider on TV. But I don't remember if this show actually explained how he got his powers, but I mean, he's not a mutant. I'm going to assume she's really distracting. Then I thought he was Patriot. The name there's Patriot in the Falcon Winter Soldier series. Now, I kind of think it's interesting now. This majority of the show takes place on this giant plane, which they call the bus. Pretty interesting, and I think that's Simmons there. She's awesome. She's just not her mic. So Fitz and Simmons are the geeks. They're the Q branch type characters in the show. They do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, taking care of tech and all that, weapons, gadgets. I mean, it's a pretty solid premiere for the series. Yeah, I like those underdog stories of what happens like in between the movies. I think they did that a little too much going forward. They even had Sidwell, Jasper Sidwell, in an episode where he just ran to Winter Soldier. This part was really cool. Like the plane coming out of the hangar with the shield symbol. Awesome. I remember geeking out when I first saw the helicarrier in Avengers and then the Triskelion. Especially the Triskelion, because that's specifically from the Ultimate Universe. I just think it's not as cool to see those in between stuff. People investigating these otherworldly incidents like damage control. They had damage control in the last Spider-Man film. I don't know why they have like guns and were shooting at Peter, but so I thought the reveal of Asian Ward being Hydra was one of the coolest twists in the show. And it was pretty obvious to me what they were trying to do. And even at the time of the show, but during a couple of rewatches, it was pretty clear to me that he was definitely undercover for somebody. Leaky girls. Damn, damn, damn. I don't think Sheila's on anymore, but I think it'll be interesting to see, given the circumstances of these characters, how they would react and what type of episode we would get. Not to get too far ahead, but I remember Nick Fury showed up in the season one finale, which was pretty cool. So this is basically like double seven type stuff. It wasn't great about the time, but looking back, especially after Endgame, it's interesting to get a different perspective on the Marvel universe from the underdog characters. They've got this secret division called Centipede or something. Basically, I don't think it's a branch of Hydra, but oh my goodness. So it's like I think they replicate the super serum from Captain America, kind of like with John Walker and not so much Sam because Sam doesn't have the serum in the comics, if I remember correctly. But it's like it's a warped version of the serum, so basically made him go crazy. This was a couple years before Falcon Winter Soldier, so I want to say the serum from Falcon Winter Soldier is a little more amplified. This was definitely early stages. There's some cheesy bits to the show, like Mike Peterson just talked to some doctor chick. Apparently, he rescued her from the burning building, and then he's as he's jumping out the window, it's like it's an origin story. So this is just actually like, no, it's an origin story. And like they were definitely setting up Sky and Ward as a romantic type of thing. Usually, what happens when you got two characters that don't like each other. Yeah, definitely super serum esque for sure. Now, I just mentioned Extremis, so it's poorly done in Iron Man 3. In the comics, Extremis is a pretty cool storyline. So apparently, this stuff that's in Mike Pearson's bloodstream is a mixture of Extremis, gamma radiation, and the super serum, which is why it gets angry and starts lashing out. I don't know why, but Fitz reminds me of Scotty from Star Trek for some reason. It's like the downside of his premise is that it's pretty unstable. So it's in his bloodstream is kind of pretty much going to eventually explode unless they find some way to neutralize him. The only crime I would say for this is that the Avengers never realized that Coulson was still alive. Like, Fury knew he was around the whole time, but never told the Avengers. I think that was a mistake. It would have been pretty cool to see Agent of Steel characters show up in Endgame. It was like clear that this centipede thing has given him powers. Originally, I thought it was Luke Cage, but turned out to not be the case. I mean, like something like this, they could at least call Captain America, but I doubt they had the budget for it. Cap could stop this guy in about 10 seconds. I guess that's the point. When the heroes are doing other things, I guess this is what you get with the lesser known characters that also exist in that world. You can assume that they're Hydra because nothing else really makes sense going, especially going into Winter Soldier. Well, how it falls extra slow past the mule of black people. This part is pretty corny. The guy gives this long, drawn out speech. Not like the other people, I'm different, man. Take the shot, Ward. Take the shot. And that'll be a good time to call him Captain America or Thor. The attention to detail. Standing in front of a mural of black people while he's giving this ridiculous speech. Actually hysterical. There we go. He's showing with Anthony though. Smart. Still would have been pretty cool to see Cap in this, but again, I guess that's the point of seeing these lesser known characters deal with these problems that the Avengers otherwise wouldn't be involved in, I suppose. Like this show, definitely looking back, the show definitely started a new era for Marvel, and kind of missed that era. Like I don't think I'm gonna get to that point, if ever again, not for a while. Looking at the lineup of films coming out, just I don't see it happening anytime soon. But I'm still holding on to some slimmer of hope, a little bit anyway.